Okay, guys. So many of you guys know that being in your head is very difficult. Why? Because we always overthink. Yes, overthink. Two, we always like to think that, well, what comes with overthinking is that we always think that someone else or other people, when we're walking around in public or in even going into like family events, and I'm speaking from this with experience. But is that when you go to public events or family events or even a social setting, you feel in some type of way like you're overthinking. Like it could be insecurity, it could be also to like you feel like people are staring at you. You can feel a lot of emotions, and this is why this topic and this episode podcast in your 20s, you guys already know that I interview a lot of guests, but this time I'm going to be alone. But I'm going to make this quick and simple for you guys to consume as much of my personality and of this content, because I feel like this is very important. I also have a psychology degree, if many of you guys know, and I'm a mental health specialist. That is my job right now in my position. And I have interviewed a lot of people, hundreds of people, honestly, on my Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So I have had the privilege to meet a lot of people who are celebrities, but also normal people that I've interviewed on the streets of Chicago and other states. It's really weird because I have observed a lot of stuff, but also too, from my experience, we tend to overthink so much, and that affects us mentally, and also to what we consume is what we develop our thinking about, if that makes sense. Because I feel like a lot of people don't really like to talk about their emotions, which is perfectly fine, because who can you trust nowadays? Let's be realistic. You can't really trust that much. But also too, consuming the wrong content or consuming the content and perceiving it a certain way and then comparing yourself to it, it's not healthy either. So I'm not going to be here to be like, okay, this is going to help you, to be, long story short, I did this myself, right? I've done 5 years of development, self-improvement, and it was really hard, not easy whatsoever. So I'm not just going to be like, oh, it's easy. No, I did a lot of mistakes, and you will make mistakes too. And you probably have, which is terrific, because that means you're doing something about it, right? And we're humans. So end of the day, if you're feeling anxious, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling sad, whatever, so be it. That is perfectly fine, because you're human, and I would expect you to be human. So, and end of the day, don't be soft. Don't be soft. Get up, try something new. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna cry. You're gonna anything, man. You're really just not gonna like it. It's just gonna suck so bad. Like it's gonna be so uncomfortable. You're gonna possibly have a knot in your throat. You're possibly gonna be shake when you're making a one-on-one conversation. You're gonna sweat. You're gonna feel tight around your clothes. You're gonna feel uncomfortable. Your clothes are gonna fit weird. Whatever. So it's just gonna be really tough and uncomfortable. And it could be in any type of scenario, because no matter what excuse you make, it's gonna be tough end of the day, right? So I did ask a couple of people, and not a couple of people, I asked a lot of people to throw in some notes, share some notes, DM me of different type of topics. So I narrowed it down, and I don't think I'm going to have enough time to actually go through all of these, but there's 10 things. And with those 10 topics, quick ones, I'm going to go, there's a couple questions within those 10 topics. And I'm going to try to, like I said, this is just based off what I developed as an opinion of interviewing all these people as guests, and also meeting people and going to social settings, as what as it helped me, but also to conversating with people about these, I guess you can say, topics, what I found out how they view the world, right? Because at the end of the day, what you see, what you feel is not going to correlate to the person. And by that, I mean, they're not going to have the same feelings as you. They're not going to have the same perception of you or goals, right? Not even your family members. It could be your best friend, your mom. My mom's my best friend, but that doesn't mean that she has or wants the same goals as me, or wants the same outcome as me, right? We're different people, different views. That's just how it is. Life is. So put that in your head. But mental health awareness, let's just put it as that. That's the topic number one. Why is it important to talk openly about mental health? I'm not going to make this boring for you guys to click out of here, right? It's very important because it helps you develop of what you want to do in life and not stop you from making, your first piece of content, for posting that Instagram post that you've been wanting or dying for the past 2 weeks, asking that girl out on a date, at the coffee shop, the cafe, at school, right? There's little tricks to it, but it also, to the end of the day, speaking as in a man perspective, takes balls to do. Yes, and you're gonna get rejected. It doesn't matter how good looking you are, it doesn't matter how tall you are, it doesn't matter how well spoken you are, charismatic, you're gonna fail in one of these attempts. And if you go 10 for 10 or 20 for 20, props to you, man. Maybe I have to be, you got to DM me your magic tricks. But at the end of the day, it's, you're going to get rejected. And that's the perfect part, because you have to. You're not always going to get a yes. Not always. Not always. And, so, and it's just important to talk about, because I'm just like, if you really want to conquer in it could be a position, a career, a sport, it could be anything, to be the best or to try something new, you really have to start within, and when I'm interviewing these people, everyone just says, and I've interviewed in all age groups, but also 240, 50, 60, you name it. And end of the day, it's just like, the older people don't live in regret. You're here for a short time, you're young until you're not. You're not going to be able to do everything you want in life. So you're going to have regrets no matter how much you accomplish. But the thing is that you just want to have as, minimum or minimal as possible. If at this moment, if you feel like you want to go skydiving, or if you want to go for a 10-mile run, do it. Right. In that moment, do it. And that's the biggest thing. But I feel like mental health, it's very important for that. So I'm not saying be soft, talk about your feelings. Yes, if you have someone to do that with, good for you, go do that. But don't let it stop you from achieving or doing something new or conquering, or, it's up to you, and it's what you want to do. And don't let yourself stop you. People are going to criticize you, and that's cool. That's perfectly fine. Let them. It's supposed to happen, but don't let yourself stop you. That's the most important part. And then question number 2, it's like, how can we reduce the stigma surrounding mental health issues? I mean, there's this stigma. It's like, oh, if you're a man, you got to keep within. I understand that. And I go through that currently too as well. But I feel like I try to be an open book, right? So sometimes I don't have a filter, and I say things before I think. Like right now, like sometimes I can't pronounce words correctly, but I'm trying to be authentic and not a robot on camera, because I want to speak my mind, but also be authentic as possible providing these questions. But the stigma of it's just like, a man shouldn't show their emotions. Like, I get that, right? And if you're currently going through that, my best result or answer to you, I'm telling you, this is from me to you, it's just not scientific fact, is that release that at the gym. There's nothing negative for improving your body. Like, it doesn't matter if you have some, I met people at the gym, right? I actually go to this IFBB Pro gym that I actually, anyways, I go to this real gym that these professionals go, or bodybuilders, and a lot of people have these different defects, that now some of them are missing an arm, or have back pain, or crutch. It doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter, but it's like, there's no excuses to it. And they always said, like, this helped them through every single obstacle. And starting at the gym created discipline, because you have to diet, you have to go, you have to try new things, you have to fail. Sometimes you have to injure yourself. You don't have to, but it happens, right? So that creates discipline. And they said, and I'm one of those people, because I hated running. Now I love running. I run every single day. Is when you start, and it doesn't have to be at the gym, but I encourage you to start at the gym, male or female, because not one, you're gonna look and feel good. You're also gonna bring those habits onto different things you start doing in your daily activities, so, or positions, or habits, like anything you like to do outside of your work. So though that discipline, and like, you have to diet, and you have to be consistent, those carry on to other things you do. So if you want to have that managing position, that be a manager, or start a next YouTube channel or a podcast, you have to be consistent. And since you go to the gym, you could do it again in another subject. So that's why it's important. And what role do schools, workplace, and communities play in mental health? It's important, like I'm telling you. And the roles that it really does, I'm just gonna say it off my mind. It's like it's negative because there's gonna meet people that are just dream killers. You're gonna meet people that are just hate life or just don't think the same way you do, and they're gonna want to belittle you, and that's perfectly okay because that's their world. The thing is, like I said, mental health, make your mind strong, because the moment your mind betrays you, you're finished. Everyone else can say whatever they want. You'll be okay. It'll hurt. You'll cry. You'll feel sad. But I promise you, you'll be okay, and you'll continue to do what you're doing, and you will level up, you know? But the moment your mind tricks you and betrays you, everything tips over and you're done, right? You're not really done, but it's, you're cooked, man. It's a wrap. You're really in a hole. So you yourself have to put yourself out of there. That's why mental health is important. That's why it's important to me, because I'm not going to let no other opinions stop me from doing what I want to do. And sometimes it has to this day, right? But that's why I'm just like, you know what? Nope. I know who I am. I'm going to do it. Second topic, coping with stress and anxiety. This is a good one, and I like this because it's like, what are effective techniques to manage stress? I'm just going to say it off the bat, and I've always said this, I don't really believe in medicine. Not really, I don't believe in medicine whatsoever. I feel like it tries to control of what you're feeling, which is incorrect, because our ancestors, and I'm Mexican, right? So we have homemade rituals, homemade remedies, in medicine and everything. The typical, it's like, I'm sad, ponte limpiar, go clean your room, in translation, right? That's pretty much our mental health coping mechanism, but it's releasing stress and managing. Like I said, number one thing, go for a walk. God gave you legs, arms, everything to go for a walk. And if that's not available to you, do something to move your body. There's nothing negative, and I repeat this, I'm going to say this so many times, to not move your body or improve your body, which is, if you don't know how to diet, that's okay. As long as you just improve your body and go to the gym, move, try it, create that habit, then that relieves stress completely. Also too, talking one-on-one on your camera, on your phone, in the mirror, it's so uncomfortable, like I said, but it's gonna help over time. Try it for 3 weeks, and it's hard. Try it for 3 weeks, and you're not going to stop, or you're going to find a new thing to do to cope with it, but it's going to be a start, right? Just in everything. And like I said, when you take medicine or prescribed medication, in my opinion, like I said, it just makes you a zombie, controls it, but doesn't make it go away. So I feel like, and I believe in depression, like it's real, like anxiety. So, but there's a lot of tricks nowadays on YouTube you can look. And for me, for anxiety, I don't have intense anxiety as other people, but yes, I feel nervous sometimes. Sometimes I overthink a little bit too much, or anxiety, I just feel like nervous out the blue sometimes, right? You have to talk yourself out of it, right? And the best thing for me, at least for me, is that I know everyone else feels the same way I do. And in that sense, maybe they could feel way worse, right? Maybe they have panic attacks, that exists. But what I'm trying to say is that these people feel emotion just like me. The same way I'm doubting myself or had self-doubts, they had it too. And a lot of billionaires and millionaires and successful people have mentioned it too. Like when they first started, even right now in their position, they're powerful, they feel that same emotion, right? Maybe a little bit less because they have all this money or power or whatever, or successful resume that they've accomplished, maybe, right? But most of these people that I've talked to, they've always mentioned to me that they still feel sometimes sad. They feel lonely, with money or without money. It's both things. And it's an emotional human trait. You're supposed to feel like this. So that's what helps me, because I'm just like, I'm feeling anxiety for what? And once I identify the thing that makes me feel anxiety, I'm just like, that person feels it too. This celebrity feels it too. And that's okay. That helps me reduce it. What roles does mindfulness play in reducing stress? Mindfulness is just like, pretty much for me, is just being aware of what's triggering, or I don't really like that word, trigger. I feel like it's a TikTok term. Ooh, okay, blast me. But I feel like just know what's making you upset. Like, dude, like wake up. What makes you upset? I'm fat. Okay. You know what you can do about it. Yeah, it sucks because you have to start. It sucks so much. I'm going to say that so much, but you're going to have to do it. So instead of avoiding it, start now. Because 2 weeks later, you're going to be in that same room or you're going to be in that same area and be like, dang, I'm still fat or I gained 10 pounds. Well, guess what? 2 weeks ago, if you would have started, you would have been 2 weeks ahead and you would have felt a little bit better. And then you're going to feel more down about that because you didn't start 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So if you're really going to do something, start that now, because in 2 weeks, look back at it and you're like, dang, if you did do it, you're going to feel so proud. You're going to be like, I did do that. Now I did this. Ooh. But if you didn't do it, like many other things that you haven't done, and I know because from experience, I've done that multiple times, you're just like, wow, if I would have started that 2 weeks ago or a year ago or a month ago or 5 years ago, I would have been in this position. Yeah. So that's going to make you doubt yourself and not want to do it more. But guess what? Do it anyways right now. Why? Because 2 weeks are going to go by again. 5 years are going to go by again. Just like that, you're going to be older with more responsibilities and it's going to be way, way, way harder. So instead of stacking stuff up, or how life stacks stuff up naturally, do it now. Question number 3, and I'll make this really quick. Supporting others with mental health challenges. How can you support a loved one struggling with mental health issues? What are the signs that someone may need professional help? See, I'm never the person to go give you a solution right off the bat. I talk to you as a normal person. If I'm aware that you are dealing with depression, anxiety, or let's just say a tragic event, this is my strategic approach. This is how I handle things. And this is how I feel like it makes me be authentic and genuine and comes off like that, is that if I know you're dealing with something, I don't go right off the bat and just bring it up, and it's awkward, right? But also too, maybe that's just you. But how I do it is just that I just approach the person and I have a normal conversation, right? If you're going through a tragic event or you're going through a mental battle and people are aware of it, you're hearing the same repetition. You're hearing the same questions or solutions or conversations over and over again. Like, get over it, or it will be okay. Or, hey, man, I just wanted to read. Hey, I'm going to go to you. I'm going to start a conversation of, if I'm assuming that I know you, I'm going to start the conversation of something you like sports, for example. Oh, soccer. Messi just got another trophy. Messi, just went against Ronaldo. That was sparking conversation because, one, I know you like that sport and it takes your mind off whatever you're dealing at that moment. So then that opens you to go to another conversation, right? Or it opens a new opportunity for your head to go somewhere else and focus to something else instead of the problem you're dealing with at that moment, right? And once we have that conversation, I'll throw in a couple of jokes and just have laughs naturally, right? Because then you're going to let your guard down. The people are going to let their guard down because it's a genuine conversation between two friends, two family members, a co-workers. And that's going to make them feel better because instead of hearing the same thing every single time, it's a new approach. And then once they get comfortable, or you see they get comfortable, because I'm very observant, then you can just go little by little like, hey, man, I like to share something personal for me in every single conversation, right? I could just be like, dang, man, I didn't have a good last week. And then they're going to be like, why? And, and then I share my vulnerability to them, and that makes them overshare a little bit more. And that provides good because I'm sharing something vulnerable on my side of the part, but also it's true, right? It's helping me get it off my chest, but also to helping them know that, hey, like this guy has problems too. And I'm not saying, and I'm not like telling that person too, my problems are worse than yours, but I'm just starting a conversation, and me being vulnerable is going to make him open up. Maybe not at that moment, but it's going to be like, okay. And right then and there, that's where you solve that solution. I mean, end of the day, people just want to be heard. We're human creatures. We're social creatures. No matter if you're an introvert or shy, you would want someone to hear you, even if you don't want to see a person face to face, which is kind of crazy, but you want to talk to someone. And I feel like that's the most amazing thing about being human and mental health and the mind, is that it plays tricks on you, but you can really do some damaging if you really conquered these skills or master these skills of psychology. And it's crazy enough, but that's the thing that I would tell you, how to approach someone dealing with mental health or dealing with anxiety or depression. Approach them as a friend, as a coworker, genuine, just authentic. Spark a conversation, crack some jokes. That's going to ease them off and make them relax. And then little by little, if they choose to share with you, and if you ask them a little bit, it takes practice too, then they'll share and the conversation will start there. And maybe you can tell them some tricks or tips how to help them or help you, don't find a solution right away. If someone comes to me and be like, oh, I heard you were sad. Do this, do this, do that. No, I don't want to do it. Now you're telling me to do it. Hell no, dude. It's simple as that. But guys, in your 20s, you already know that. Stream every single episode on podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, In Your 20s officials. Vote for Pedro. Vote